And Yolanda Gillot will be your moderator today. So you can maybe come close to the stage.
Hello everybody, that was so much fun to watch. So we're here today to pay a tribute to Jean-Paul Belmondo. And as you know, and the people who are French, you know that Belmondo was called Bebel in France by all his fans. And he started his career with Jean-Luc Godard, with Melville. He was like, I would say, the poster child from the French New Wave, or actually probably the bad boy of the New Wave. And then he went on to do a bunch of other movies that were more like comedies, like you saw today. And one of the first ones that he did was L'Homme de Rio. And it was a spoof of the James Bond movies. And it actually later inspired a bunch of other movies like that, like OSS 117 with Jean Dujardin. And then he went on in his career to do more comedies and action movies. And when he died, people were really, really shocked in France and around the world. And the tributes came from all over the place, everywhere. And he's called by the French like a national treasure. So we have here with us Jacqueline Bisset and Francis Weber. And I'm going to ask you, you've been working with him in different capacities. You as an actress, and Francis as a writer. You're also a director. And I wanted to know, what was the first thing that you noticed about Jean-Paul Belmondo when you met him? Your first encounter, basically, with Jean-Paul Belmondo. I'm going to start with you, Jacqueline.
You know, I can't remember. Is it working? Is it working?
No.
No? What do I have to do to make it work? Hello?
Take
My mic.
It works.
What?
Hello? Aha.
Désolé, I'm sorry.
Hello? Hello? Yes, we can
No,
hear
I
you.
don't remember. I don't remember the first meeting. Of course, I'd seen him in movies, so I knew him in a sense, a certain aspect of him. But in fact, seeing the movie again, this was a delir. Crazy, you know? I don't remember a lot of it, and it all came back. Wow. Wow. Wow, really.
So where you...
I remember he was sitting with his girlfriend. I remember he had a very beautiful girlfriend called Laura Antonelli, and they were in a restaurant, just coming back now. We first met, yes, and I met him.
Okay, that was for the movie, for this movie?
This was when we came to Mexico. We were in Acapulco.
Yeah, okay. And it was the first time, you speak French fluently.
I didn't speak French fluently at the time.
Okay, so was it difficult for you to do the French because you were playing two parts?
Right, well, the sort of bondish character was more difficult because I didn't know how to be snobbish in French. I knew how to play snobbish in English. So I said, well, I'm going to transfer that over-the-top accent into French. And they accepted it. I was always embarrassed. Every time I spoke, I said, is anybody going to believe anything I'm saying in this accent? And somehow, ça passait.
Fantastic. And you, Francis, what was your first encounter with Jean-Paul Belmondo, and for what project?
We were lovers when we were 20.
Yes.
No. We adopted a Vietnamese child. No. What happened is that I was 20 years old, or 21 years old. I was working as a journalist at RTL, a French radio, and there was a kind of award for the best, I think you say dramatic radio, you write a story. And I had a co-writer, we were young, the two of us, and very stupid. And he said, who can we have to play the lead part? At that time, Belmondo was a star, you know, like that. He was in Weekend as Jude Cut with Henri Verneuil, and we went to see him there, you know. And he looked at those two jerks, you know, my friend and I, and we offered him something that was really low in radio, you know. And he was so nice. He said, okay, no, I can't do it, but okay, courage, you know, you will make it. Good luck. He was very nice. It was the first time.
And it was, yeah, so it was very gracious. And Jacqueline, when you did this movie, I mean, he had a reputation of playing pranks and
yes.
to make, I mean, the whole crew laugh and everybody laughed. Didi, can you talk to me a little bit about this, or to us about this?
It took a moment or two before I realized there was a sort of thing going on. He had a makeup man called Charlie, and a wardrobe lady, I think she was called Paulette, or Pauline, or Paulette. And they were like, what? Paulette. And they were like a gang, in a way. They were always with him, and they loved to be together, and they would eat together, and they had these gags that they did, which basically was, if you left your room for the evening, you never knew quite what was going to happen, because sometimes the gang would do their thing, which was to go into your room, take everything lying around, put everything into the bathtub, full bathtub, and sort of destroy the room, and you'd come back and you'd find your room destroyed. And it was happening around, not all the time, but it was happening when we changed locations sometimes, and I did not want it to happen to me. And I was traveling with a hairdresser from America, who was my companion quite a lot. She was a good friend. We had to plot it, and we were both scared of Jean-Paul all the way through the film, because he never knew. He was unpredictable, and one day we said, before he does it, we have to do it. But we cannot be caught. So he'd already thrown me into the swimming pool, il avait fait des trucs tout le temps, quoi, mais des petites choses. Mais là, we had our revenge. We did it, we were so scared. And the next morning, he came up in full character of the film, like this, onto my porch, and looked at me like quizzically, I said, qu'est-ce que vous dites, bonjour, Jean-Paul. He never knew for sure. We lived in terror. He was something. God.
And you, Francis, do you remember any kind of fun things that he did to you, or while you were writing for several of his movies, right? This one, and also Hold Up, Las des As.
What I remember is that Jean-Paul, as Gérard Depardieu, was farting all the time. I'm sorry. Probably it was a way to relax, you know. So you say action, it was the answer of Belmondo. It's one of the things I remember. And
I think he kept this for you.
No, it was for you too. So more for you. I'm sorry. So what I remember is that Charlie Coubesserian was his hairdresser, no?
No, he was, yes, makeup, no, maquillage.
Yes. He was Armenian, and my mother was Armenian too. So, well, we were friends, but she was kind of a rough Armenian, you know? And they put a goat in his room in the hotel. He was elsewhere, you know, and they brought a goat and they put it in his room. Also, Charlie Coubesserian spent the night with the goat. And the goat is pregnant, I know. No, I'm sorry. So he was really making practical jokes all the time. And he was a good friend, you know, very good friend.
I think he got bored easily. And that's what made him be like that, you know, because he had so much energy, and he'd done it so much. He'd done so much work and so much clowning around and stuff. And he needed a sense of activity. My story with him was, I didn't really know what to talk to him about, because he was obviously interested in quite low-level things, putting it mildly, and the farting thing and the belching thing and all that stuff. And he loved boxing, and I happened to have a visitor during my shooting, which was a lightweight boxer called Hedgeman Lewis, and he came to the set we were shooting, and he came with another very big, strong guy And it was a very, very famous boxer. And when Jean-Paul saw me with these two black guys talking like really happy to see each other and everything, he was like crazy. He said, came up to me, one of the rare moments he came up to me, he said, but is that, I'm forgetting his name now, oh my God. He just won the heavyweight championship against Muhammad Ali. Ken Norton. And after that, I existed. Before that, cozy. You know, and I was like, what are they doing here? I said, they came to have lunch with me. I had to return his little.
No, I know him because I wrote for him 2-3 screenplays, you know. And he was the director of a stage in Paris, a stage theater, you know, the Théâtre des Variétés.
Yeah.
And he took my play during 3 years. Le Dîner de Con, you know, the dinner game.
Yeah.
And oh, thank you. Oh, you make my day, you know. And he was a good director, you know, he was never there, so it's okay.
So you were rehearsing, you were directing the play as well?
I was directing the play and the film too.
Yes, the film.
I became director after De Broca directed this movie.
Right.
I said I had better to direct myself.
Okay. And did Jean-Paul...
That's not nice.
Yeah. Did Jean-Paul ever come on stage while you were directing this play, Le Dîner des Cons?
Say it in German, please. No, I didn't understand.
Ich kann es auf Deutsch sagen auch, wenn du willst.
Oh, good. No, sometimes I don't understand English, you know. You know what they say about an immigrant? It's a man who lost everything except his accent. You can check it. So here we are. But I have to say that in this movie, the miracle was the casting, Jacqueline and Jean-Paul. For the rest, I can't speak about it, you know, because it's so long away, and I have done 31 movies, you know. So I'm now an old man, you know, almost on the verge of dying.
Oh, don't be
On
so
va pleurer là
morbid.
maintenant.
You look very much
I'm
alive.
sorry, if I don't say stupid things, I'm bored.
So, but you didn't answer my question.
No, I don't want. No, sorry.
Bah, tu veux pas? Il est venu au théâtre ou pas quand vous avez fait le dîner des cons?
Dites-le en français. Qu'est-ce que vous avez dit là? Est-ce qu'il était?
Il est venu vous voir durant une répétition ou pendant le jeu?
No. It was more than I said, you know, at the theater. I remember there were the actors of the play, of Dîner de Cons, and he arrived at the stage just to say hello. And when I was in the audience myself, and not in the audience, the theater was empty, but I saw this guy entering, and he was the star. And the actors, you know, Villeray and all those people who were great actors suddenly disappeared. And this is something mysterious, you know, what they call la présence. Someone enters a place, you know, and you notice only him. Hello, how are you? So that's it.
Okay, thank you.
I had forgotten his power, you know, I hadn't seen him in a long time. I must say, seeing the movie again, he really was something extraordinary.
But you said, I read somewhere where you said he was a man of his own. What do you mean by that?
A man of what?
He is a man of his own.
He was a man of his own, so I think I was misquoted.
Okay.
I mean, he was
No,
definitely his own person.
You
He
said
was
it.
very definitely his own person. One couldn't imagine him being any other way somehow. I couldn't. Yet I'd seen him in films being many ways, but he was the most coordinated person I've ever met. By a long, long way. You know, you see athletes everywhere in the world, but they don't have this combination of the brain, the body, the comedy, and this incredible. He could do so many things at the same time, apparently, which is evident in this film, you know. That's really, I admire this. And he's magnificent. I mean, he was magnificent. But I didn't notice it at the time. I'm seeing it today. Very curious. I've forgotten a lot of the scenes, really, quite a lot.
But you should have gone with Mike Tyson once to see him.
No, but Mike wasn't on the scene at that time.
No, true.
And is there anything else that you would like to say about,
I would like to say
when is
that-
the last time you saw him?
The last time I saw him, I was writing, because Le Professionnel, one of his movies, is signed by Michel Audiard, and in fact I was doctoring on the screenplay, and I rewrote the whole film, you know. So I saw him when he was preparing himself to shoot it, you know, to perform in it. But I think it's the last time, because I was sad to see him sick, you know. It lasted 6 years. And it is the worst punishment for such a fantastic physical actor, you know, stuntman. To see him in that shape, it was really a tearjerker for me. So I didn't see him at that time. But before, I saw him during 3 years in the theater, you know. So he was a real friend. And I have to say, a magnificent actor, because there is a moment where the reviewers were saying he's just a stuntman. No, fake, it's not true. He was a great actor.
Great actor.
And I admire Jacqueline because she is admirable in this movie. To perform with this gang, as you said. And I will tell a story she didn't want me to tell, but I will tell it. Jean-Paul arrived in Acapulco, you know, on the set, and he had a wonderful girlfriend called Laura Antonelli. She was so beautiful, you know. But Laura Antonelli was jealous, and she was afraid that Jean-Paul would be stolen by Jacqueline. So she was under the camera, it's not a joke, she told me, knitting. You can't imagine this gorgeous woman.
No, she wasn't knitting. I said she reminded me of Madame Lafarge in
It's
The
funnier
Tale
if
of
she
Two
was knitting.
Cities.
It's funnier if she was knitting.
No, she wasn't knitting. She was smoking with her breasts up very high,
Ah,
with her
you didn't
legs
say
crossed,
that. You
yes,
didn't tell
with her
me.
leg, and with dark glasses. And she was right by the camera. So whenever I had anything intimate to do with him, it wasn't so easy. But she was okay otherwise, I think.
So she was matching your every move, basically.
I don't know, she seemed to be insecure. But I was not, Jean-Paul and I never had we were not interested in each other. It's funny, we worked together very well. When we liked each other, I think, okay. But I didn't have enough rubbish to talk to make him really happy.
As a matter of fact, I was unlucky, you know, because most of my movies, the one I directed, were with two men, Depardieu and Pierre Richard, Villeray and L'Hermite. The only time where I had in a movie a woman was Michel Serrault in La Cage aux Folles in Birdcage, you know. So I couldn't have a relationship with an actress except you. Not true.
So, and you, Jacqueline, when
Yes.
is the last time that you saw Jean-Paul?
I saw him about 5 years ago. He came to a lunch at the French consulate, and he came with Johnny Hallyday and his girlfriend. They were all there, and Johnny's wife, and we spoke, we hugged each other, and I didn't know what to think. I didn't find him in very good form, but he was not in bad form either. He was friendly, he was a little different. But c'est normal, du temps avait passé. But no, I feel actually quite sad this moment, having seen the movie again and seeing where he was at. And he was a special guy, really special.
Does anyone have a question to ask? Okay.
To Mr. Weber, I mean, you're here today as a screenwriter as well for the movie. I have a question for the scriptwriting process. Did you write for Jean-Paul, thinking of Jean-Paul? Because I cannot imagine that Belmondo was not in your mind before the beginning of the script.
No, good question, you know.
And the second question is, during the shooting, with the dialogue and the text, how did it work? Did he try to change things? Did he respect everything? Did he bring something to you?
I will tell you, I'm sorry if it makes you cry, because it's a sad story, you know. I wrote Le Magnifique. I gave it to a producer, a very famous one in Paris, you know. And Jean-Paul and neither Jacqueline was in the cast at that time. I had a relationship with de Broca. He accepted to direct it, you know, and once he called me, I was in my house, you know, in my apartment in Paris, and he told me, I have to see you. He was working on a film in his studio, you know. So I didn't understand what he wanted. And it was raining, and I was not very rich at that time. Now I'm so rich. No, now And I arrived with the bus, you know, and I had my suit, Sunday suit, the only one I had at that time, you know. And I said, what does you want? And he said, I don't make you movie. So I was pissed off. I told him you couldn't say that on the phone, you know. my suit was shrinking, and he said, and I went back to my house pissed off, you know, and I said to my wife, I hate this guy, de Broca, and it kept on because he changed my part in the movie for this intellectual young woman that Jacqueline is performing. It was not the case at all in my screenplay, you know. But well, when you are a screenwriter, you don't exist really. It's why I started to direct. But I thank God that the film had Jacqueline and Jean-Paul, because I'm not okay with the whole movie, you know. It's not my style of movie. It's a good movie. I was never saying anything bad against the film itself, but the blessing of it is those two actors. The second question was what?
During the shooting, when you were seeing
No, I was not on the shooting. A screenwriter is not invited to go so far. You know? If you shoot in the suburbs of Paris, they invite me, not in Acapulco.
And didn't you write also Hold Up, a movie for Belmondo and Las Desas?
No, I didn't write it. I was doctoring on the screenplay.
Okay.
No, what I wrote for Belmondo was Professionnel and actually this movie, you know, but I don't remember anything else. No.
Anyone has anything else to say about Jean-Paul?
Well, he was very unique, and I don't know anybody who can fill this gap. There's a gap now, somehow. Because he had a humanity as well as all those other qualities, you know. I think there's a lot of physical buffoonery that goes on now. People are very pumped up, they look ridiculously over-muscly, and they don't have this grace and this kind of depth that he had also, which he didn't use all the time. But it's funny because I have a very mixed feeling about seeing somebody so handsome. I mean, yes, it's amazing, but often it looks less than intelligent because, you know, they've been exercising in front of the mirror for the last 4 hours a day, and it doesn't carry the weight, and as actors it's a bit ridiculous. So I prefer generally the body that grows naturally from doing things that are good, interesting, or building a house or doing something, rather than this kind of narcissism that is so prevalent now.
Yeah, going to the gym every day.
What?
Going to the gym every day.
Well, going to the gym is great, yes, but it's the idea for the man to be. These hero characters are. I'd like to see some hero character who's kind of hasn't got a great body, but who's really interesting.
Thank you. I think we're going to have to stop. Oh, there's one more question. Do you have time for one more question? Okay.
Was he aware or talk about any competition or comparison to James Bond? That must have been a similar period.
I'm sorry, I don't hear you.
James Bond, 007, was that compared, or was there competition, or joking about it?
I think that James Bond is really in category à part, you know, something very special. And Craig was fantastic. And it's funny because I have seen for the third time maybe a movie with James Bond running on a train and fighting with the guy. And it reminded me, Jean-Paul, dans Peur sur la ville, on the subway, you know, running on the roof of the subway. And so I think that Bond was inspired by Belmondo.
When did Bond start?
Pardon?
When did the Bond character come into being?
I think it's, I don't remember the title, you know.
But what year was it? Because we did our
I know the
movie in
title- I know
73.
the title in German.
I think it was in the 60s. Okay, 62.
62?
So Craig, I'm talking about Craig recently,
Right.
you see. So I think a lot of American actors admired Belmondo because it was at the same time physical and good, you know, which is a characteristic for the American actors. They were very athletic compared to our actors and to our men in general. Look at me.
So Bond came first.
But Bond, yes, but maybe not Craig. Craig
He's
is the
talking
last
about
one.
Daniel Craig, the last
No, but I'm just
incarnation.
wondering of that character because I never
Yeah, sure.
even
No, no,
associated
no.
the two
No,
things.
Sean Connery was far before, you know.
What year was he then around? What year was those?
He was
movies?
Scottish too, you know.
The Scottish too, yeah. Anyways, anyone else, because we're going to have to close. Thank you so much. Oh, one more question.
I just want to say, both Jacqueline and Jean-Paul are just beautiful on screen. After seeing them all these years, they just pop right off the screen. But I did have a quick question about the costuming, because the costuming also being funny in the different colors and stuff.
Yeah, it
And
was
both the
great.
costumes
Yes, fun.
wore Jacqueline.
There is a moment in the film when you meet at the airport for the first time, and you tell him, how did you recognize me? I don't remember who said that. How can he not recognize me?
The costumes, from my point of view, were done by a designer called Don Feld, who was an American designer, quite famous at the time. I worked with him in several movies. We put the costumes together. We worked together quite hard. He did a wonderful job for me. I think he made me look much better than I really did. He really did. It was.
I'm sorry.
No, it's
If
okay.
you want to speak, you can. You speak far
Please.
better than I do. But she has a good accent, you know. So I know that the difference between what I have written and the film itself is that the writer was performed by a little man, and the hero was performed by Belmondo, you know. And here Belmondo is obliged to, we say in French, composer, to be a writer pour.
To embody.
Yeah, that's it, you know, with his cigarette all the time like that. And he's far more brilliant when he is magnificent, you know, I think.
Yeah. Well, on that note, we're going to leave. Thank you so much for coming and for watching the movie. And thank you, Jacqueline, and thank you, Francis.